It seems Donald Trump wants to build a massive empire during his presidency. First, he'll take over Canada, then Mexico, the Panama Canal, and finally, Greenland.
I'm back to FITTI to the E, and today we're going to be taking a look at these creepy TikTok videos. If you guys like the video, remember to get to 1,000 likes. I don't know why some dude yesterday saw me wearing my do-rag like that and thought I was wearing a hijab. I'm like, dude, it was just a do-rag. I just thought it was funny. But it says around 70% of you guys are not subscribed. We got the 75 down to a 70. So make sure to subscribe and watch the end because this video is also crazy.
We have some really big news right now. Senator Ed Markey has just filed a bill to extend the date of the TikTok ban by 270 days to give more time for lawmakers to find a solution for this app. Yes, the January 19th date remains in place, but senators like Ed Markey are putting forth legislation as we speak that you can call your senators and advocate for to extend the ban date by 270 days. Senator Markey just finished speaking on the Senate floor, and he noted the significant concerns with a ban. The fact that 170 million Americans use it, the fact that millions of small businesses are on this app and rely on it for their livelihoods. Folks, call your senators, urge them to pass this legislation. It's not too late. There are still avenues, no matter what the Supreme Court does, to save TikTok. I'll continue to advocate for it. I'll encourage you to do it as well. And if TikTok is ever banned, I'll be on my other social platforms continuing to provide you news coverage at the link in my bio. But for now, let's continue to advocate to save this platform.
Yeah, I don't think they should ban TikTok because they're just like privacy, all this and all that. But at the same time, Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat and X, they all have like in their agreements where they could use your data and give it to third parties. The only difference between them and TikTok is that TikTok is, I guess, a Chinese company, so they don't really want the Chinese having our data. But like, when it comes to privacy, all the other apps do the same thing. And I also saw someone say that some Canadian billionaire might buy TikTok, or Elon Musk might buy TikTok. But if Elon buys TikTok, he's gonna have X and TikTok. It's gonna be like, you know what I'm saying, almost like a monopoly. So I don't think he should, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments.
It seems Donald Trump wants to build a massive empire during his presidency. First, he'll take over Canada, then Mexico, the Panama Canal, and finally, Greenland. If this vision became a reality, here's what the US might look like. Removing borders with Canada would boost security and cut defense costs, as the US spends heavily on Canada's defense. Adding Mexico would bring cultural richness, workforce, and a booming tourism industry. Greenland's strategic location and natural resources would make the US a true global superpower. And with the Panama Canal under its control, this nation would dominate global trade and energy flows. The combined land area would be 9.3 million square miles, 1.5 times larger than Russia. With a population of over 500 million, this new country would be the third most populous, behind India and China. And with a GDP over $30 trillion, its power would be unquestionable.
Which is the city that people regret moving to the most in the United States? Most Americans do not know that the city where people feel the most satisfied after moving to in the US is Madison, Wisconsin. So which is the city that people regret moving to the most in the United States? Fifth place, Oakland, California. Oakland faces high living costs with average expenses around $3,146, significant crime, and rapid gentrification, causing many to regret moving there. Fourth place, Las Vegas, Nevada. Las Vegas struggles with limited job opportunities beyond hospitality, severe desert heat affecting comfort, and a high 20% annual resident turnover, leading to regret. Third place, Houston, Texas. Houston's urban sprawl necessitates car use, causing traffic issues. Intense summer heat and humidity, plus frequent flooding impacting 25% of the city, lead to regret among residents. In the second place, Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta faces severe traffic, high crime rates, and significant economic disparity with 21% of its population below the poverty line, causing regret among residents. Before announcing the first place, comment in the section below the city you think that people regret moving to the most in the United States. The city ranks first, struggles with a 7% unemployment rate, impacting young professionals' career prospects. Harsh winters and slow economic revitalization in healthcare and tech further decrease resident satisfaction. That's Cleveland, Ohio.
Wow, those are some popular places. I'm actually surprised with some of those because those are some like majority commercialized places. I feel like that's why it might be regrettable because maybe too many people fluctuate to that area. And if you live in any of those cities, let me know if you regret moving there.
This woman got 0 prison time after stabbing her boyfriend 108 times. In 2018, 26-year-old Chad O'Melia's life was savagely taken in his apartment in California by his girlfriend. 33-year-old Bryn Spetcher says that on this day, she was tricked by Chad into smoking a highly potent strain of marijuana, which caused her to go into psychosis. She says that she remembers immediately walking into the kitchen and grabbing several knives and stabbed her dog before going after Chad and taking his life. Bryn then turned a knife on herself and attempted to take her own life before police arrived. And authorities also said that it wasn't easy restraining Bryn and that the taser didn't even work on her. Now, Bryn's defense argues that she reacted this way because she only smoked less than 6 times in her life, which that combined with the high potent marijuana explains why she took her boyfriend's life. Bryn ended up only receiving just 2 years of probation, 100 hours of community service, and no prison time.
So I remember looking at this graph that shows the dangers of drugs on people and the dangers of drugs from people onto other people. And it's crazy to see marijuana on that list because everyone knows it to be like a relaxer, you know what I'm saying? You smoke some weed, you relax, you maybe eat some food or something, lay on the couch, be lazy. It's usually alcohol that has that effect where you do some stupid stuff. So that's very interesting for me to hear that. And if you do, let me know your thoughts about that.
That will give you hope. A missing 5-year-old who walked out the back door was found in a nearby river and rescued by a Florida officer. A Burger King employee who went viral recently for working 27 years and only receiving a goodie bag from Burger King was able to buy a house thanks to the donations from going viral. A man was finally arrested in a 1973 cold case. Long Beach, California has fixed nearly half of its 63,000 potholes. A stray dog that was desperate to be picked up by a pup bus got adopted. We have discovered that microplastics can be removed from water when you boil it. A California cat traveled 800 miles back home after getting lost at Yellowstone National Park. Thailand has recently seen a 250% increase in the number of tigers in the country.
Celebrity plastic surgery disasters. Anthony Lofredo before, after. Sahar Tabar before, after. Michael Jackson before, after. Jocelyn Wildenstein before, after. Melanie Martinez before, after. Donatella Versace before, after. Igor and Grichka Bogdanov before, after.
South Carolina, it is your turn to be shamed for having creepy things. This is a gigantic children's museum that is a boy that you can go inside its body and look at its body parts. And this is how big it is compared to humans. Yeah, his name is Eddie, and this is called Adventure, and it's in South Carolina. And look how tiny the people are compared to just its shoe. You can sit in the chair and take a picture with Eddie. I'd rather not. This is inside of Eddie's head, and you can see his eyeballs and his teeth. Also, if the children don't have faces, it's because I had to blur them out. So they might look like demons. You know what this reminds me of, though? When you're in the tubes at Chuck E. Cheese and you're trying to get your mom's attention. But yeah, look how absolutely massive that thing is and compared to these kids. No. You can go on this catwalk and look at him, or you can literally just go inside him, like I said. Imagine it at night when all the lights of the museum go off and you can look through the window and see it in the pitch darkness. Look, this Eddie's brain, you can go down these slides. There's a bunch of like interactive stuff for kids, like actually climbing up and going through his heart, stuff like that. It's nightmare fuel. Kids probably aren't scared though. Meanwhile, I would be. But yeah, have you seen Eddie? Will you go see Eddie? He is in South Carolina. Y'all are gonna have to tell him that I said hello because I'm not going.
Am I weird? Because like I would actually do something like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? You bored on like a Sunday, you want an adventure, just go see Eddie Adventure. What's his name? Adventure? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that bad. Maybe I'm weird.
Before and after images that will shock you.
I heard someone said your body my choice. I agree. Dépêche-toi. It is a sickness. So here's how nature deals with that. Bonobos actually have a system where if one female gets pressed by a male and she's not feeling him, she'll let out a cry, and every female in the group will pull up and put the beats on dude until he learns respect. They actually managed to nerf male aggression through the power of friendship. So you know, when a new male lion takes over a pride, the first thing he does is cancel any cubs that didn't come from his. Well, sometimes the lionesses ain't having it. Sometimes they jump the new guy. There was one case in Masai Mara where a male tried to steal food from some cubs and got absolutely obliterated by the mothers. They castrated him. I can't even show you that picture. The biggest threat to a baby bear is a bigger male, and some mother bears will purposely live closer to people, knowing that's the only thing keeping her biggest ops away. Ironically, some bears choose the man. Funny. When a capybara wants to dub a guy, she'll dive into the nearest body of water and just sit there for as long as it takes. By the way, the guinea pig can stay under 5 minutes. Female dragonflies will fake their deaths to avoid male attention. Like they'll freeze in midair, crash to the ground, and just lay there and pray that stops him. Sometimes it doesn't. Some anacondas will seemingly let the male score, only to strangle him to a flatline and then eat him alive. The more you know.
Don't ever use a public bathroom again. This, my friends, is Akamata. Plus, drop a like, tag a friend, or she might get you. Akamata is a Japanese ghost that haunts and kills people in public bathrooms. It said that she'll walk up to you and ask you a series of questions. These are extremely important. The most important question being, would you rather choose red or blue? If you choose red, she'll chop you up into a million pieces. If you choose blue, she'll choke you to death until your face is blue. If you try to avoid the question entirely and choose a different color, she will drag you to hell to be never seen again. My question to you guys is it worth not waiting till you get home?
I didn't think it was possible, but this line was even more of a menace than I imagined. Like, I knew he was a hater, but I rewatched the doc, bro. This was Kitty King Von. The more lore you get, the crazier. First, his name, Ntwa Dumela, actually isn't Swahili. I was so ready to blame the documentary, but I watched. They never said it was Swahili. I think I made it my bad. But yeah, Ntwa Dumela's name is Siswana, or Sisutu, and it roughly translates to, if you want the smoke, we'll bring the fire to your front door. First red flag, he ran a pride with his brother Mandevu, but while Mandevu was only after that, Ntwa Dumela didn't care, he craved conflict. Now here's where he earns his name. His pride was beefing with a clan of hyenas, and we're talking blood feud. You know how bad? Animals mark their scent, but usually predators don't care about the scent mark of other predators. It got so personal, the lead hyena would go out of her way to mark over the pride scent mark, and for reference, that's like painting over the set. And when you realize what hyenas mark with, you see the disrespect. Look up hyena butter. It's not the type you put on popcorn. Now add the fact they were harassing members of his pride, and you knew. Ntwa Dumela was not letting it slide. Here's what he did. One night the Yeens and Lions were going at it, and Ntwa Dumela went straight for the matriarch and broke her back. Didn't even finish it, just cracked her like a glow stick and left like a sneaky link. Hyenas live in a complex hierarchy, so by crippling the leader, he basically tactically nuked their entire army. Now the diabolical part was the matriarch had a daughter who would have inherited the lead position, but because Ntwa Dumela went and bambied her mom, she lost all her status and got forced out the clan. So let's review. In one move, he assassinated the leader, left her to suffer, orphaned her daughter, ruined her future, destroyed her legacy, and caused the hyena civil war while ending theirs. Yeah, Ntwa Dumela got it. You've never heard a hyena stutter.
The 11-year-old sole survivor of a family massacre in Fall City, Washington, played dead after her teenage brother allegedly opened fire at her. 5 members of the family, parents Mark and Sarah Humiston, and their children Catherine, 7, Joshua, 9, and Benjamin, 13, were killed in the shooting. The 11-year-old daughter watched in horror as her 15-year-old brother checked his victims' bodies for signs of life. After he shot her in the hand and neck, she decided to play dead and escaped through a window after he left her room. The suspect was charged in juvenile court with 5 counts of aggravated murder and 1 count of attempted murder.
This is wild. A notorious Colombian hit woman known as The Doll was just arrested by police yesterday for several high-profile hits, including her ex-boyfriend. And no, none of you in the comments can fix her. It's reported that 23-year-old Karen Rodriguez was labeled as highly dangerous by police and that she was in the midst of a career expansion, leading a small team of hitmen conducting a spree of you-know-what in the region prior to her arrest. And after her capture went viral online, people pointing out how much she looks like actor Aubrey Plaza are now calling for a movie to be made and for her to star as the Doll character.
Shocking facts you didn't know about power cuts. 40% of adults in the UK admit their first call would be to their mum and dad during a power cut. Who would you call? The UK's most memorable power cut happened in 1978 during national strikes. 1 in 5 British people surveyed said they would sit in the dark until the power comes back on and hope someone else solves the problem. The 2003 power cut left 500,000 people without electricity for hours. Almost half of the adults in the UK admitted they don't know about the 105 emergency helpline number. What if you or someone you love needs support during a power cut? Get prepared and learn more at nationalgrid.co.uk/getswitchedon.
The weirdest world records of all time. In 2011, a cheerleading team of 20 people set a world record. This record was fitting every single person into this tiny smart car. Now here's an interesting record that was broken by a woman in Japan. She popped 123 balloons with just her butt in 1 minute. I guess leg day really does pay off.
People you won't believe exist. Eli Thompson. He was born without a nose. Paul Carrison. His skin color is purple-blue. Isaiah Acosta. He was born without jaw and ability to speak, but become a rapper. B. Melvnin. She has naturally white hair since birth. Darina Spingler. She was born without chin and lips.
There was one kid that were like, oh, he has no chin or jaw, so he can't speak, but he's a rapper. So you can't speak, but you can rap?
Stillwater. We've already talked about Stillwater, but I had a dream last night that I fell in some Stillwater, so I'm going to make it everyone else's problem. Stillwater is, get this, when water is still. It mostly occurs in like abandoned places, obviously, because there's no, vacuum keeping the water moving. So it's very, very dangerous, as we've already talked about. There are like a bunch of like brain-eating amoebas probably in here, and don't fall in it. I found this picture on Reddit and my soul left my body. Why does that look like a wig? Why does it look like The Grudge is in chocolate milk and it's coming to kill me? This one looks like Shrek and Fiona had some fun in it, if you get my drift. This one is more liminal spaces, but the decals of, are those whales or dolphins, on the bottom of the pool would send me into cardiac arrest. Any pools that have anything on the bottom of them, like a decal or something, count me out, because I'm already scared there's a shark in there. Why are there so many abandoned pools that have not been cleaned out? Why? This abandoned YMCA with this water sitting in there for like 5 to 10 years? Why? Yeah, Stillwater is dangerous, y'all. Don't mess with it. This is horrifying. I don't know why it's so much less scary to think about falling in water that is, aerated. No movement is so much scarier. How do you feel about Stillwater?
Do not watch this movie because it will unalive you. Why is this known as the most deadly film on Earth? Movie Antrum is about 2 siblings who accidentally dig a hole that leads to hell. Reportedly caused over 60 unalives, and when you start the film it even comes up with a legal warning that you have to read. Many people mysteriously passing away after watching this film. So, this actually released in 2018, but the actual original Antrum released in 1970, rumoured to have been completely lost because you cannot find it anywhere, even though there is documentation of it being shown in theatres, which I'll get to. So, several film festivals who received the movie back in the 70s, the people that got it, vanished, passed away. But by far the craziest, a movie theatre completely catching alight while the film was being screened. In 1988 in Budapest, the film Antrum was showed, it burnt down and unalived 56 people. This is an actual photo from the scene, this is 100% real. There is still no trace what caused this fire, and the reel that the film played off remained intact, completely unharmed. All of these events caused Antrum to become the most cursed film and dangerous film on the planet. Can watch this new version. As I say, it has a pretty severe warning at the start, but I do not recommend it. Let me know in the comments if you've seen it.
Honestly, the goat with the little pentagram on his forehead where the third eye is, that's all I need to see to know I'm not watching that.
Broke a world record because police forgot about him. In 1979, 18-year-old Andreas Mijovich was taken into police custody following a car accident. Now, he was simply the passenger of the car and had absolutely no involvement with the wreck. But despite this, he was placed in a basement holding cell by Austrian police. Now, he should have been promptly released, but they kind of forgot about him. The 3 officers who were all involved with the case all thought that another one had already released him. It wasn't until the room he was in began to smell that they found him 18 days later. During his incarceration, he had lost over 50 pounds and survived by drinking condensed water on the prison walls. His mother repeatedly visited the police station asking the whereabouts of her son, and she was ignored. During the trial, all 3 officers kind of just put the blame on one another, but they did all receive a pretty hefty fine, and Andreas was awarded the 250,000 shillings that he demanded. To this day, even though he didn't try, he still holds the Guinness World Record for the longest surviving time without food or water.
$250,000 for that? Damn. I feel like that's a little bit undervalued if you ask me. Alright, so let's say I came up to you, right, and I was just like, yo, $250,000 right now, 18 days, no food, no water, prison cell. Would you take it? Exactly. You wouldn't take that. At least give me $1 million for that. You know what I'm saying? At least an M. Mostly with today's inflation, yeah, I'm gonna need at least $1 million.
I know you know this holiday movie, but do you know these movie facts? Holiday Horror Advent Calendar Day 6, and today is Black Christmas, 2006 version. I hope this doesn't get me canceled, but I love the original Black Christmas, but I prefer this one. Black Christmas is about this escaped maniac who goes back to his childhood home, which is now a sorority house, and wreaks havoc on the sorority sisters. Movie trivia number 1. In the background of one of the scenes, we see something very familiar. You can spot the leg lamp from the movie A Christmas Story, which was directed by Bob Clark, who also directed the original Black Christmas. Movie trivia number 2. The movie was filmed in Canada and only took 29 days to complete filming. Movie trivia number 3. Writer and director Glenn Morgan really wanted to expand on Billy's character because he felt like that's what was missing in the original Black Christmas, so when he was coming up with different character traits, he studied one very specific person. He based a lot of character traits and backstory on real-life serial unaliver Edmund Kemper.
So much has happened in the last 24 hours, it's insane. California was hit with a 7.0 magnitude earthquake, which then triggered a tsunami warning, which was then cancelled. The French government has literally collapsed after their prime minister was booted out in the first successful vote of no confidence in over 60 years. Romania's constitutional court has just ordered their presidential elections to restart from scratch after intelligence documents suggested that the winner of the first round benefited from a mass foreign influence operation. People are calling for the Hoktua girl to be investigated after she launched a meme coin that dropped over 90% of its value overnight, losing people millions of dollars. The words carved onto the shells used in the killing of United Health CEO are claimed to lead to this book titled Delay, Deny, Defend: Why Insurance Companies Don't Pay Claims and What You Can Do About It. The Czech Republic has just passed a bill exempting Bitcoin held for more than 3 years from capital gains tax starting 2025. The family of the teenage boy who fell to his death on the drop ride at Orlando theme park in 2022 has just been awarded a huge $310 million payout. TikTok lost its appeal to strike down the TikTok ban law, and NASA has just delayed its first mission to put humans on the moon in over 50 years to no earlier than mid-2027.
They'd be tied with ropes and dragged under the ship's hull. As they were pulled beneath the boat, sharp barnacles and rough wood scraped against their skin, causing deep cuts and bleeding. The salt water worsened the pain, stinging the open wounds. If the sailor wasn't pulled out quick enough, there was a high risk of drowning before reaching the other side. If they did manage to survive, it just meant they were ready for round 2.
Yeah, apparently that's what pirates used to do to torture their victims. Isn't that crazy? I would not want to be in a pirate ship back in them days.
Imagine hating your family so much that you fake your own death to run away with another woman. Well, that's exactly what this man did. On August 11, Ryan Borgward went on a fishing trip, and that was the last time his wife and 3 kids saw him. His wife reported him missing, and when police went to go look for him, they found his kayak upside down, his car still parked, and his cell phone in the water. So obviously police thought that there was an accident and he drowned, so they had a search team look for him in the water, but they couldn't find him. But then in October, 2 months after he disappeared, police found out that he crossed over into Canada just a few days after he went missing. So imagine, at first the family's devastated because they think that their father is dead, but then they find out that he's alive and he's in Canada. When police got a hold of his laptop, they found out that this man had been plotting how to fake his death for months. He went about getting a new passport, purchased a $375,000 life insurance policy. He wiped out everything from his computer and even changed the emails linked to his bank accounts. But it gets even crazier because police found out that he sent money to a foreign account, and then they find out that he was in contact with a Russian woman this entire time. So did he leave his family to start a new life? But then everything kind of went downhill for him because he sent police a video telling them that he was safe and alive and there's nothing to be worried about. Then he decided to return to Wisconsin a couple of days ago and he was arrested for faking his own death. So my question is, what made him come back? Did his relationship with this woman not work out?
Crazy things happening in the world right now. A bear that attacked luxury cars in LA was actually a person in a costume. A bear that...
Did his relationship with this woman not work out?
Crazy things happening in the world right now. A bear that attacked luxury cars in LA was actually a person in a costume, according to insurance investigators. Passengers have a new fear unlocked because the plane they were on flew for 9 hours and then landed back at the same airport they came from. Mike Tyson reminded a child reporter that she too will die someday. A police officer pulled over his own boss for speeding. A former inmate sued Oklahoma jail officers for their baby shark torture tactic. A woman who dropped her phone in between two boulders got stuck upside down trying to get it. A fire station burned down in Germany after there was no fire detection system installed. The latest study shows that self-driving cars are safer than humans driving cars unless it's dawn, dusk, or it's trying to turn. A new alleged potato cartel is being accused of conspiring to raise the price of frozen fries and tater tots across the United States.
So the self-driving cars are only safe when it's on a highway going straight. That's pretty much what they're saying. He said it has trouble turning. When you're in the cities, all you do is turn, so it's only good on the highways. That's pretty much what they're saying.
Facts that will definitely make your skin crawl, part 2. There is more of a chance of you finding a dead body underneath your bed than actually finding it in the garbage. If you ever plug your nose during a sneeze, you can actually rupture a blood vessel in your neck or your brain and it'll cause you to bleed to death. The electric chair was actually invented by a dentist. If a black cat looks at you and runs, it usually means something is about to happen to you, usually being pretty bad.
Insane true stories that you won't believe. Back in 2004, a man named Mitch who was a senior in college fell in love with a girl in his grade. After they graduated, they moved in together and began to work. And 2 years later, they got married. Not too long after, Mitch's wife became pregnant. But his job was going so well that his wife was able to stay at home and take care of their newborn baby. And a few years after that, his wife became pregnant again. Mitch absolutely adored his family. And with raising his kids and having a great job, he was living his best life. But one night while he was watching TV, he noticed something strange out of the corner of his eye. A red lamp in their family living room was blurry. Nothing else in the room was blurry to Mitch except for that lamp. He decided to shrug it off, but when he looked at it again, it was not only blurry, but it appeared to be upside down. He didn't tell his family because he didn't want to concern them. But after a few days, Mitch became obsessed over this lamp. He even skipped work just to stare at it all day long.
Alright, who am I mad at? You! I'll never forgive you for that. Crazy how a cereal commercial managed to gaslight us about this bird. Toucans are one of the strangest dinosaurs still alive, and no, I'm being serious. First of all, it's not even a parrot, it's basically a giant woodpecker. And they're not just fruit-loving rainbow vegans, they eat other birds. As in, they'll go out of their way to raid nests and eat the baby birds inside. Yeah, follow your nose, right? You know, when they're not also murking bats and frogs and pretty much anything else. I've even seen one life-deprive an owl. Y'all think they're cute, but I see right through them. And like this bird in reverse, you can too. The skin is so thin and translucent, you can stretch it and shine a light through it. It's like it's not even there. They also have a serrated beak. You know, serrated, like a knife. Unless you're a flying fruit ninja, there's no reason for a vegetarian to have that hardware. The signs were there. This tropical drone also has a feather duster for a tongue. That tongue's entire purpose is to shove food back down its throat, and food can be a blueberry or a struggling baby bird trying to escape, but the only way out is through the south mouth. Speaking of which, this is my life. I hate it. Understand that owning a toucan is owning a ballistic, unregulated paintball that will redecorate your home with color bombs whenever they feel like it. I just want to reiterate, any small animal you put near this bird is in danger, but if you want to put a sugar glider next to a Fruit Loops mascot, that is a decision. And they're not that bad. The babies are cute, and they purr.
These are scary cartoon truths that'll terrify you, part 16. Charlie Brown apparently has cancer. The most obvious clue that Charlie Brown has cancer is that he is mostly bald except for the one small tuft of hair on the front of his head. No other character in the show appears as bald, so it implies that it just wasn't a random characteristic style. The other odd thing about Charlie Brown is his down and out personality. He's always dealing with existential crises, way deeper than any normal 8-year-old should contemplate. The theory goes on to suggest the reason that nothing ever works out for him, and his life is always a disaster, is because he's in a hospital bed, slowly fading away and projecting his sadness into dreams.
I mean, that is kind of sus, because how are you 8 years old already pretty much fully bald? It's a little bit not very youthful, I guess.
These are the craziest knockoffs of popular cartoons. Most people know about The Amazing World of Gumball, but today I'm going to introduce you to Miracle Star, a Chinese show that was launched in 2014. This knockoff didn't just copy the animation style, it recreated entire scenes from Gumball. The main character is also a cat boy whose brother is a fish with legs. The creators of Gumball obviously found out about this, so they went ahead and made an episode called The Copycats, where the two families from the shows face off. Next, I think we all agree that the Cars franchise is a masterpiece. Well, today I'm bringing you something better. This is a movie called The Autobots, a Chinese movie that was released in 2015. The movie got immediate attention because of its resemblance to Cars. And when I say resemblance, I mean it's almost the exact same movie. The only difference is that in this world there are actual humans, and the characters are very slightly different. But it's pretty obvious that the main character is a blatant copy of Lightning McQueen. And in Cars we have Francesco, but in Autobots we have Francisco instead. The movie's director actually defended it, saying he had never seen Cars before. And there was a sequel planned to come out in 2017, but Disney won a copyright lawsuit against them, so it was canceled.
I don't know why that writer was lying. Like, it's literally an exact copy. It's either he's seen it before or someone in his team has seen it before and just copied it, you know?
These are the strangest things that have ever been caught on camera. This video shows what appears to be a dark humanoid type creature crawling towards a bunch of boys playing soccer. Once the kids see it, they immediately run away in terror. Nobody knows for sure what this animal was, but many people claim that it was the South American mythical beast known as the Pombero. This next video was taken at the funeral of a 7-year-old girl. It shows one of the balloons that was next to her coffin somehow floating directly to her crying mother in the audience. Many people believe that this was the girl trying to comfort her mother from the grave.
Show everyone how it's done.
I'm so glad you said that, because I've been wanting to talk about this for a minute. Now I have an excuse. Male lions can hunt. They're actually very good at it. Do you peep the two-man? The whole them not hunting thing, that comes from lion pride, and there's a reason for that. You see, lady lions are great at getting groceries, but they can get jacked by hyenas or even other male lions. I think it's something like they only keep 24% of the animals they take down, so it's actually the male's job to defend the kill. Kind of hard to do that when you spend all that energy catching it. Also, the way they hunt is different. Lionesses hunt as a pack running down prey. With lions, the mane kind of gives them away, so they're mostly ambush hunters. When male lions do help hunt, it's usually to help bring down bigger tanks like buffalo. They're like mercenaries. They just come in and finish the job. Simba also has to patrol his territory and run fits with any down bad males that want to take over his pride. Yeah, no pride to be found after that. Also, before they even get a pride, they're in their bachelor nomad era, and if they don't hunt for themselves, they die. Here's some other lion facts, just because I feel like it. It's actually proven lions will leave an area after murking something just to give their survivors a chance to let their guard back down. Some lionesses will purposely play paternity roulette and give up the lion yash to any males, even ones outside the pride, because not knowing who the father is actually saves the cubs from meeting Mufasa. In 2004, a man jumped into a lion exhibit and attempted to convert them to Christianity.
I feel like us humans naturally forget that life is supposed to be violent. Like, as sad as it is to say, but if you really look at nature, it's automatic just eat for eat. So like this guy trying to go and telling the lion like, hey, Jesus is your savior. That lion's like, gang, I'm trying to eat. I'm hungry.
How shows were originally supposed to look. So Toy Story featured this much larger, wide-chinned Woody that was actually supposed to be a villain, with Buzz Lightyear appearing in a red suit. Glad they changed that. Monsters Inc. originally animated Mike Wazowski without hands and looking a bit less friendly, and Sully was completely different, foregoing blue for brown and looking a bit more dorky. Lost media of Shrek was found in 1996, which had Shrek looking a lot creepier with very little resemblance to the good-looking man that we all know and love today. Lightning McQueen was supposed to be a basic stock car with more body to appeal to more viewers, since race cars are considered to be too low. Finding Nemo originally had the whale scene with only Nemo, and made the blue whale a lot less intimidating than in the final version. Smurfs had an unpolished finish leading up to the days before final production, looking like this. And finally, Sonic from Sonic the Hedgehog movie was originally animated to look like this. Pretty cool, right?
This man was seen sleepwalking every night to an abandoned well, and when people found out why, he was arrested. Part 2. Inside, they found barrels of gunpowder. It turns out Assad was sent to the village by a large mining company. The village was actually built on a large gold deposit, but for years the villagers wouldn't let the company mine it. So every week the company would send Assad a shipment of gunpowder which he secretly poured down the well. And when the time was right, he would set it off, causing a massive landslide, destroying the village and letting the company mine the gold. But before I tell you what happened, if you want to erase corrupt world leaders that invade other countries or really anything from your photos, you need to try this. Just press this button on my profile and try erasing something. Since Assad was always thinking about this plan, he would subconsciously walk there while he was sleepwalking, which ultimately got him caught.
3 facts that could save your life, part 5. If you ever find yourself trapped on a thin piece of ice and have no way of getting back to safe land before it breaks, lie down on your stomach and start slowly crawling back to exactly the way you came in on. That'll put less stress on the ice, making it almost impossible for it to break. Most people understand flags on shorelines, but the purple flag confuses most people. The purple flag being the warning that the most dangerous sea creatures are in that exact area, such as jellyfish, stingrays, and of course, sharks. If you ever feel like puking while you're scuba diving, vomit into the regulator. Do not remove it from your mouth. Removing it from your mouth will make it impossible to reapply it on your face, meaning that you're probably pretty far underwater, and once you remove that from your face, you probably will most likely drown. Like and follow for more videos.
People throw up underwater? I wonder how that feels like. Imagine throwing up into your breathing thing. Damn, dude.
Oh, nobody finds it interesting that Moana goes looking for her ancestors that are connected to the sea and she comes back with Negro.
Hello, my friend. How could Moana have African-appearing ancestors if she's meant to be Polynesian? This is an understandable mistake, but the people depicted in Moana 2 are not meant to be African, but instead Melanesians. While the Melanesian appearance shares a lot in common with the appearance of populations in Africa, they're actually further genetically to Africans than Europeans are. The story of Moana is rooted in the history of the Austronesian migration. Around 4,000 years ago, it's understood that Austronesian-speaking people began their voyages from Taiwan, moving across the islands of Southeast Asia. As they sailed, parts of their population settled in islands they crossed, developing into the populations of Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines, to name a few. They eventually sailed across the Pacific Ocean, and some even reached Madagascar, leading to the people of Madagascar today. It's the part of the migration where they started sailing across the Pacific Ocean that explains what you saw in the movie, as well as why Polynesians tend to appear physically different than their Indonesian or Filipino cousins. The Austronesians that sailed towards the Pacific began interacting with the Melanesians, who today remain residing in the islands of Papua New Guinea, the Solomon Islands, and Fiji. Over thousands of years, these groups remained interacting with each other, trading goods, ideas, and even genetics. And so that's why Polynesians and, well, Moana would have some Melanesian ancestry.
Celebrities that disappeared and were never found. Andela played in the NBA for 8 years after being drafted in 1991, even winning a championship alongside Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls in 1997. Despite having 5 more years in a $45 million contract with the Pistons, he abruptly retired at the age of 30 in 1999. In his retirement, he enjoyed traveling the world in his catamaran boat that he called Hakuna Matata. On July 6 of 2002, Bison, his older brother Miles, his girlfriend Serena, and skipper Bertrand left Tahiti. By July 8th, the family of Bison and Serena had completely lost contact with them. On July 20th, Miles returned to Tahiti with the boat, but this time, he was alone. 2 months later, Miles would be arrested in Phoenix for attempting to forge his brother's signature, attempting to buy over $150,000 worth of gold. The boat was discovered off the coast of Tahiti with the nameplate completely removed and possible bullet holes that had been patched. Now, he confessed that him and his brother had gotten into an argument on the boat. Bison's girlfriend was accidentally hit, fell over, and smacked her head on the part of the boat, which resulted in her death. The captain then wanted to report her death, which is why Bison killed him. Miles then shot his brother in self-defense, threw the bodies overboard, and fled back to the US. Obviously, the story doesn't quite add up. Now, before police could even attempt to try and verify his story, he intentionally overdosed on insulin and died September 27th, 2002.
My biggest fear was having an ugly baby. Now look what the Look at him. He is so funny looking.
How dare you say something like this about your own child? To all the moms watching this, do you think this is normal? Now, I'm not married, I don't have kids, but this is messed up. You've been carrying this child for 9 months. This child is your own skin, and you go and call him ugly publicly online. To me, miss, your child looks adorable. There are women out there that gave birth to babies missing arms and legs, and they were never treated differently than other kids. These kids eventually grow up winning golden medals in Special Olympics. But the thing is, there's nothing wrong with your child, miss. What a shame. What a shame.
Yeah, that's wild. And how does she even know that he's ugly? Like, for real. Like, the kid is, like, probably looks like he's 1 month old. You know what I'm saying? So you can't really say that. For real. Like, she's bugging for that. Like, you're tweaking, kid.
An influencer has died at a creator event hosted by Box Lunch. If you're not aware of the story or of Dominique and the events that led up to this, Dominique Brown is a Disney influencer. She was invited to attend a creator event that was going to be hosted by Box Lunch. Dominique also had a number of severe allergies, which allegedly she had made the event team very aware of. But despite them being aware of that, an incident took place at the event where Dominique suffered a severe allergic reaction. People who were at the event made allegations that she did not receive very necessary medical attention in time, and it was confirmed Dominique did die at the event. The most disturbing and dystopian thing about all of this is that other creators, other influencers who attended this event are allegedly still posting content, positive content from the event, as if this event did not happen.
These are the most haunted places in the Philippines. Before I start listing them down, you do need to know that for all paranormal investigators, the country of Philippines is on their to-do list, as it's known worldwide for its haunted destinations. Starting at number 4, Fort Santiago, Intramuros in Manila. The walls of Intramuros turn into something terrifying, reminding you of the dark Spanish era. Thousands of civilians and soldiers were tortured and killed in Fort Santiago during World War II. It may be a hot tourist spot, but at night, the strange noises that are heard in this fort tends to keep visitors and tourists away. Number 3, Clark Air Base Hospital in Pampanga. This abandoned building used to be a military hospital during World War II and the Vietnam War. Paranormal investigators have confirmed that demons have conquered this property. It is commonly visited by YouTubers, but things always go wrong. The jinns that are specifically in this hospital are a little more protective towards their home. Number 2, Manila Film Center, Pasay City. This building is potentially one of Asia's most haunted destinations. When a building is haunted in the United States, you will hear noises. But when a building is haunted in the Philippines, it is a whole nother level. This film center was abandoned in the 80s after it collapsed during construction. It killed all the workers, and none of their bodies were retrieved. And ever since, visitors were always warned to stay out of this building. The bad energy in this place spiritually drains you. And finally, number 1, Diplomat Hotel in Baguio City. Baguio City is ranked as the world's most haunted city as a whole. The Diplomat Hotel goes way back to 1911. No priests were able to cleanse this place. After many deaths inside this hotel, the business ceased its operations in 1987. Many paranormal investigators from around the world swore that they would never visit this building again. The Philippines is a beautiful country, but it is well known for its horrifying stories. You tell me, what country should I do next?
When an ant bites you, it grabs your skin with its pinchers, but it's not actually the pinchers that hurt you. You see, the ant uses them to hold on to your skin, but then they bend their bodies upwards and stab you with their stinger. Now, because they're holding on to you with such a good grip, it allows the ant to sting you multiple times in the same area. This injects you with their venom, which causes that sharp stinging pain.
That was a little bit strange. I was like, hey, yo, is my skin pregnant? What the fuck? But yeah, we made a video yesterday and it was talking about how TikTok was supposed to get banned. Apparently, they might put a pause on that, which I'm hoping they do, so I can, like, you know, have time to figure things out. But let's see what happens.
Thank you all for watching this here video.